Hello, welcome to Connecting Greatness, Conversations with Entrepreneurial Minds. Today I'm sitting down with the president of Mellow Footwear, Mr. Andrew Violi. Andrew, welcome to Connecting Greatness.
Yeah, happy to be here.
What makes the Mellow brand unique?
You know, at Mellow we believe that all of our shoes have to fit right out of the box. So the minute you put them on, they have to be comfortable. And we believe a large part of that is the fact that we're able to manufacture domestically, that we have control over our entire manufacturing process. And so, you know, everything that we do is geared to not compromising when it comes to creating the best product that we know how to make.
The safety industry is very niche.
Mellow is one of the last footwear manufacturers in the country. And we started about 20 years ago. My father was one of the co-founders of the company. And at that time, most footwear operations were going offshore. They didn't see a future in Canada. My father bucked that trend and said, we're going to stay Canadian. And it's a passion that he's instilled in me as the president of Mellow today. And we really look forward to the next 20 years now and focusing strictly on our safety footwear that we distribute across Canada and North America. I think the customer has a fairly low expectation of what a safety shoe is for. They see it as, traditionally they've seen it as, this protects my foot.
It's a steel toe.
It's a steel toe shoe.
Yeah.
We've tried to elevate what the expectation is. And when people think of Mellow historically, they've come to expect a lot of us, and we've come to expect a lot. As a result, we've come to expect, have expectations of ourselves. You know, so we've always tried to differentiate ourselves from the competition by having, again, by trying to create the most comfortable pair of shoes that we know how to make, to create a pair of shoes that somebody can wear outside of work, that it looks good, that fits comfortably. It's a shoe that people can wear on the weekend, which is kind of unique. And again, we're all about raising expectations from the customer level.
And so you grew up in the company. Were you always a part of it?
No, I wasn't, and I never saw myself wanting to be part of that. It was manufacturing. It was an old school kind of environment. It didn't seem like it was the right place for me. About 6 years ago, looking at the company, I saw that they needed some help. That they needed some help modernizing. That they had to bring themselves to stop thinking themselves as a factory and start thinking themselves as a brand. And that was my background and expertise. And I said, you know, I have some skills that this company doesn't have, and that I can help modernize them and make them relevant.
Do you remember the day that you decided to really look at Mellow and say, I think I'm going to come home?
Right. I was wrapping up my MBA degree, and I was working part-time at the same time as completing the degree. And I wanted to find something that I could believe in. You know, I didn't want to end up working in another corporate communications department, just kind of following orders from the top and rolling out somebody else's agenda. I realized that I had an opportunity to start over in the family business. You know, working in a family business environment is difficult at the best of times. You know, it's, you know, imagine having those knockdown brawls that you would have with your family members. It's a different environment than it is corporately, because you bring all those family and the personal issues into your workplace every day. And at the end of the day, you have to go back and be friends again, because again, you're working with family, and you know, you have to have dinner on Sundays with them. So, you know, you have to be able to resolve things.
That must have been quite an adjustment for you.
It was an adjustment. Family is being family. You still have to, you have to, you know, things are not always rational, and I think that's maybe what's missing from working in a family business to working in a corporate environment, is that sometimes that rational process. And you know, sometimes, but one of the good things about working in a family environment is that if you have an idea that you think is the right idea, it's much quicker to implement.
Are you the oldest son?
Yes. Yeah.
I get the impression that you're the oldest son.
Yeah.
Yes. And you're a lot like my brother. Very, in certain situations, very factual. Very factual. For me, when I worked with my dad was better at remembering what mattered most. I forgot what really mattered most all the time. Did you have that trouble as well?
Yes, sometimes. I think so. I think being a family business, my father always had my best interests in heart. And sometimes you have to, you forget to separate that this is it's a business relationship and not father and son. And so maybe I was always pushing a little bit to move a little bit faster than what my father was comfortable doing. He had, to his credit, 40 or 50 years of business experience. He had already advanced years in footwear and knew from experience what worked and what didn't work.
I can relate a lot to this situation, so I'm loving this. And
Yeah.
so I'm going to ask you this. Succession.
Yes. So he's still chair of the board. He's not active in a day-to-day capacity.
Was that hard for him?
It was hard for him. And I think he resisted that urge to step aside for many years. And it was hard for me as well. There was things that I may have wanted to move faster than I have, if not for my father sort of again looking out for the business's interests and saying, okay, we got to move a little bit slower, we got to be a bit more careful, a bit more cautious.
Now, how about the transition in the company? Was that accepted, or were there employees that were there 20 years that are
Right.
going, sorry, you're not your dad?
Thankfully, no. But I think over the last number of years, we've changed the faces in the company. So a lot of the faces that were there that maybe my father had hired are no longer there anymore. And I think that's a normal process. Is that the people that are loyal to you are the ones that you've hired and that you've built up a relationship with, and the ones that can't adjust to the realities of a changing, evolving business are the ones that will ultimately leave on their own or otherwise.
You shifted from being a shoe manufacturer to being a builder of brand. How was that for you, that evolution?
That gradual process, but that was the first thing that I noticed when I joined the company, was that they saw themselves as a factory. And I said, in today's environment, you cannot just be a factory. You have to be in control of your own brand, because if you're just making products can be made anywhere. But if you own your brand that goes along with it, then no one can take that away from you. I like to think of ourselves as a safety footwear brand that happens to control our own factory, happens to control our own manufacturing. And in the past that would have been considered a disadvantage. Today it's an advantage, because having a factory right here in Toronto, we can get our samples out to our customers in days and not weeks. We can do small runs of products that you can't do from offshore. We can warehouse and manufacture what we need when the customer needs it. And so we have all these distinct advantages that, even though our cost structure is higher, the benefits are starting to outweigh the cost savings that you might occur from going offshore. And we're lucky. We're really fortunate to have a really good group of core retailers that support us, that believe in our product, and we enjoy working with them, and I think they enjoy working with us. It's a professional relationship, and we continue to grow and evolve on it.
Entrepreneurs. Have you a personal lesson that in your mind really stands out for you, or a moment in time when you've really recognized a shift in yourself to be not just the son, but the leader?
Right. About a year and a half ago, I joined a business organization, CEO Global, and working with, within the group, it's a little bit different than other business groups in that we have a core group of colleagues as part of our business group, but we also have a leader to the group who acts as a business coach and a mentor. And working with my business coach and mentor, it's really helped me develop my business, not only my business skills, but my leadership skills. And so today, and it's been about a year and a half, but I everything that I keep learning there, I keep bringing into my business. So, I guess what I would say is, I started to realize in my business that there was a whole bunch of things I didn't know. And I realized that the torch was passing from father to son, but there was a whole bunch of things I didn't know about business, and there was no one internally to teach me. So I'm learning those things outside of the business that I can then bring back and incorporate. So I guess when it comes to entrepreneurship, I would say it's an evolving process. You have to keep your mind open to learning, and you always hear that learning is a lifelong process. It's a little bit cliche, but if you stop learning, I think you stop growing. Your business will shrivel.
Andrew, has it been difficult for you and your company to adjust to the youth or your newer generation of employee that is I call them Googles, but I think you understand what I'm saying. Has it been difficult for your company?
I don't think so. If it was my father running the show, I think yes. I kind of we've hired some people now that are, I don't think of myself as old, but we've hired some people now that in their 20s and 30s, and they bring a different perspective to your business. They're not afraid of a challenge, so I'm happy. I don't feel threatened by people that are younger than me. I'm happy to learn from them if I can.
Great.
And I'm also happy to provide them with some coaching if I can as well.
And when we come back, we'll talk more specifically about a little bit about the younger generation,
Sure.
but also the technology, because in the 20 years your business has existed, there's been a world of change. And I would like to talk a little bit about how that has affected Mellow Walk Footwear.
Great. Thank you.
We'll be right back on Connecting Greatness. I'm sitting down with Mr. Andrew Violi, the president of Mellow Walk Footwear. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to Connecting Greatness, Conversations with Entrepreneurial Minds. Now we're going to talk a little bit technology.
I think Mellow Walk is at the forefront, certainly in this country, when it comes to footwear manufacturing and incorporating machinery.
What size is your sales force and administrative team right now?
So Mellow Walk, we have about 50 staff. Mm-hmm. About 40 of them are on the manufacturing end, about 10 on the administration side, mm-hmm. And comprising sales and marketing and administrative staff. One of the things that we realized a few years ago was that we didn't have a way to connect what we did in the front with what we do in the back. Mm-hmm. So we invested in ERP manufacturing software, mm-hmm. and that was a big leap forward for us. So now that we have one central brain that controls the front end and the back end of the factory, it's meant a big change to the way we operate. It controls our inventory, it controls the raw materials, it controls how the production flows. It's pretty sophisticated, mm-hmm. and it takes a lot to get to that stage, to get it running, but once it is, you're happy that you did.
How is that then used outwardly to increase sales or to increase the value of your brand?
I think it gives our customers more visibility into what we do. There is now they can see clearly what the production outdates are. They have take some of the guesswork out of your order may be ready next Wednesday, next Friday. It does give.
So you're giving people to the date.
We can
pretty much,
and I think it instills more confidence with our customers, in that we can manage our own business properly, and that we can provide them with efficient and effective service.
How was it that you were able to actually make that leap? Was this an external involvement, or was this somebody on your team? How did this work for you?
Right. So it was something that was always in the back of our minds for a number of years, that we needed something that could control both the front and the back of the factory. And there was a lot of research that took place to find the right vendor for us. Thankfully, my brother, I haven't mentioned, but is our director of sales at the company, and he had the foresight at the time to lead that process. We have much better visibility into our own business, so we know much faster now what products are selling. Be able to measure the margins of all our products better, to know where our financials are up to the minute. It's a system that gives not just the CFO visibility to the business, but everyone.
Right.
So everyone knows kind of where we stand now. So it's democratized our business to a large extent, so that information's not just in the purvey of one person who kind of can sit there and hold on and tight and not share it. The information is available to a wide group of people that need it, and it's now allowing us to make decisions based on that information. To say, what do we continue with this product? Well, let's look at this. Let's go into the computer. Let's look at the sales. Let's look at the margins of this product. It doesn't warrant it. Should we? How far in advance do we have to order raw materials? Well, we have that information now. We know how things are selling. We know what we're going to need, and to be able to be a better predictor of that.
Right. So it sounds to me technology has played a huge part in the advancement and the success of your company.
Yeah. I mean, I like to say that footwear is kind of a 19th century business. It's an old school business. It's kind of like horse and buggy, but we've brought it into the 21st century. And
by focusing on brand.
By focusing on brand, by focusing on restructuring our business, reorganizing, looking at modernizing our factory through equipment and obviously with our ERP system. So, even though the process of making a shoe is still more skill or more art than skill, I guess, but we've managed to take something that was old and make it new.
Fantastic. So, from what I understand, you have had a technology audit.
Our focus has always been factory driven, and our needs have always been factory driven. One of the things, though, was that our server and what operated all of the computer systems were antiquated, and we knew it, but we just didn't know how bad off we were.
You said that you didn't know how bad off you were.
You put up, so certainly within your workplace, you put up with certain things that don't work so well, and you kind of just put it aside, saying that's the way it works and doesn't work so well. And not knowing what we don't know, we didn't know that things could be a lot better. So we did turn to have this to PCDoc to have an audit of our computer network done, and some of the results surprised us. Some of the results scared us a little bit, and it was really refreshing to have an outside party come in and take a look at what we're doing, evaluate it against best practices, and I guess it would be akin to hiring an engineer to evaluate what you're doing before you build your structure. So that's what I think really what they did is they're the engineering firm when it comes to networks and software, and they did that almost a forensic audit, really delving into the deepest corners of our office to say to us, this is what it looks like now, and this is not what it should be.
So what was that shift like in your office, or has it happened? Have these adjustments been made?
They have, yeah, and we credit to PCDoc because we weren't working in a vacuum before. We had outside IT help that was supposed to be looking for our best interests, and what we realized is that maybe they were not always looking in our best interests. They're looking in their best interests. So by PCDoc coming in and doing this audit process, it really shed light on all the holes that we had in our network.
Would you recommend that for manufacturing companies, or do you recommend that for any company to consider having this kind of audit done?
Yeah, I think it's important. I think we sometimes go straight to the solution, or what we perceive to be the solution, without any real analysis done. And it's funny because before you decide to introduce a new product or you decide to buy a piece of machinery, you do an analysis, right? It's like, should I take my product to this market? Is this the right product for this market? But when it comes to a computer system, too often we don't know what we don't know, and we just put it in the hands of somebody else to say, okay, yeah, here's a problem, and here's a new machine, and it'll fix the problem.
Right.
But maybe the problems go deeper than that. Maybe the problems go deeper than just what a new machine can fix. And so with that kind of audit that the PCDoc can do, that forensic audit, they can uncover all those things that are really lay below the surface that sometimes you just paper over, and really that need to be addressed. So if you're going to build a new house, you start from the foundation up. You hire your architect, you hire your structural engineers, and you build it up. And I think that's the role of a company like PCDoc. PCDoc was able to give us a second opinion.
Great.
They were able to.
Which there's nothing wrong with
Nothing wrong with a second opinion.
Like in anything in life.
Absolutely. Whether it's you have a major car repair or a house repair, or you're shopping for a new surgeon. Yeah. Sometimes you want a second opinion before you take some major steps. And PCDoc gave us that second opinion. But it wasn't just, I think you need to do X, Y, and Z. It's like they went through the whole forensic process. They provide you with the binder afterwards, showing the results and showing you where you need to be. And one of the things that was a little bit surprising was they kind of say, okay, here's, out of a scale of 1 to 5 sort of thing, a company of your size should be here on the scale in terms of corporate security when it comes to your networks, and this is where you actually are. So we said, oh, okay, so we're down here. We want to be over here because this is where we need to be, and they provide you with that roadmap to get you there.
And how has it changed your company?
Our computer system stays up. Sometimes we thought it was normal for a computer system to drop off for half a day, and when you start looking at the cost of 10 people not having access to their computers and not having access to all the computer functions that they need to perform in a course of a half day, you realize that it's not as cheap as you may think it is, right? There's a real cost benefit to having a computer system that's up 100% of the time or 99% of the time. It's costly when your computer system goes down.
Well, and I would think it'd be massively costly for you if your whole factory went down.
Right. Because
it's all running on a computer right now.
Sure. So, to have it up and running, I think all the staff see the difference now. And also it addresses something that, we would hear in the past is, we're listening to what our staff are telling us.
So let me ask you, Andrew, what does the future hold for Mellow Footwear?
Right now, Mellow is distributed across Canada in places like Mark's, Mr. Safety Shoes, Work Authority. Those are some of the national chains that deal with safety footwear in this country. And our goal right now is to become more of a partner to our customers. Looking for ways to co-op market with them, to share some of those opportunities to help bring customers to their doors. So we're actively looking at new opportunities to do that. But I think really, people are really now beginning to understand the Mellow Walk brand. And it's been about five years since we really put it under that umbrella. So the next 5 years really looks to be expand on our brand throughout North America, make it a national recognized safety brand.
Andrew, thank you very much. Hopefully we'll get you to come back in again in the future. We'll see how the continuing evolution is going with Mellow Walk Footwear. Thank you for watching. You've been watching Connecting Greatness, Conversations with Entrepreneurial Minds. I've been sitting down with the president of Mellow Walk Footwear, Andrew Violi. Until next time.
Thank you.